No, I'm live. So good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for attending the SPTV this evening. It's a true pleasure to actually be part of this SPTV this Saturday evening. And my name is Fredrik Haglund, and I'm from Sweden, and I have spent a lot of times in Edinburgh as well. And thank you, Richard, for inviting me here and looked after me here, and thank you very much. So those of you who have been here before, I have been told that each and every one of you know how this is going to work here. This is my first time doing SPTV and doing the multitasking show with Facebook and YouTube and in this way. So I'm very much looking forward to it, and I have heard it's a wonderful crowd, each and every one of you. So let's go. And thank you, Christine, for wishing us welcome here. As I was talking here, I was very much aware of a gentleman from the spirit world, and I do know this gentleman feels to me as a father. And unfortunately, I can't see if there is anyone who is looking here, and I can see a few names. Okay, thank you. And I do know I have a father here, and I do know this father passing to the spirit world with a cancer condition. Good evening, Holly. And with this gentleman, I also feel, for some reason, I'm very much drawn to a fire department or fire station with this gentleman as well. Hi, Stacy. And what I do know with him as well is that he is very much caring for his family and friends as well. I can't really see who is on the show here. So yep. So yeah. So I'm just going to hand this information out. I just can see the name of Bob and Benny. Irene, Bob or Benny with this gentleman as well. It might not be his name, but the name might be connected to this gentleman. So is there anyone who can understand this information? Because I do know he's a very, very strong character. I can see Benny. And also know that he would provide everything for his family. And I'm also dedicated to my work, and I can see a few medals with him as well. Elaine, may I ask you, would you understand a father in the spirit while connecting to the fire department? Yeah, because I just saw Elaine coming into the room here, or she just popped on my screen here. So I just felt drawn to her. So, and with this gentleman as well, I feel he wouldn't complain about anything. He would just happy as he was and wouldn't complain about anything. Just go on as he was. And I do know with him as well that I have no problem to tell practical jokes, and I have a wonderful sense of humor, and it feels though that he passing to the spirit world before his wife does. Oh, here we go. Thank you, June. So is it okay if I'm working with you, because this information I have is so strong here? And would you understand everything else that I have said so far? Because it should fit. And I also know with him, no, the lady I had just disappeared here. There we go. Yeah, I'm staying with Julie. So would you understand, Julie, what I have said so far? Thank you. So with this gentleman, I also know that I'm not really wants to speak about myself. I have a very strong opinion, but I don't want to speak about myself. So if anyone was asking him something, he wouldn't really answer it. He would just continue to speak about something else. And I do know with him that I have no problem to raise my voice if I have to. Well, that makes sense. And also with him, there must have been something problem with his throat towards the end of his life as well. And and I don't understand. Ben is my resident daughter, but this is a father I have with me from the spirit world. So with this, yeah, thank you. And with your father as well, would you understand that I have no problem to speak up or no problem to raise my voice if I have to? Because I really want to make sure that everyone in the family are going on very well and looking after themselves, but I want to be there as the rock for the whole family. And I do know with your mom, she's struggling a lot when your father became sick. So I do know he tried to do his best to support your mom even towards the end, even if it wasn't too easy for him. So I do know he tried to do his best to support your mom as well. But I also want to speak about yourself here. Yeah, I also want to speak about yourself here as well, because with yourself, you should have been a person who put so much things to one side when your father became sick to really support and help him as much as you could, because the relationship between yourself and your father was one of its own, and I do know your father would have done everything he could for you, and I do know that he would give you everything that he could as well. And since he passed to the spirit world, I do know you have felt the presence of your father, and your father should have smoked a pipe as well, because I can smell the tobacco smoke here. So something to do with tobacco, and you should, and with your father as well. So you should have been able to feel the tobacco smoke within your home since your father passed to the spirit world. And your mom should be in the spirit world at this moment in time as well. And she's showing me jewelries here, so I do know that jewelry is passed on to yourself from your mom after that you passed to the spirit world. So can I just leave the love from your parents to yourself and just let you know how much they appreciate what you are doing for yourself and also for the family, how you're looking after each and every one around yourself, no matter of time is difficult and things like that, but you always treat each and every one with highly respect and with a smile within your face. So, and they try to heal you, and they try to heal you with through the emotion that you're going through. So I do know there is a lot of emotion within your life at this moment in time as well, and something to do with an anniversary or a passing around this time of the year. So I do know there is a lot of emotion who worked on to be healed as well. So I'm just leaving your parents' love with you and thanking you very much for speaking up. Thank you. Let's see. I do have a lady with me here. She feels to me as a mother, but also as an aunt, and I feel she's laughing when I see her here. She's a one of her own, and she's a very strong character. And I feel with her, if she started to speak, she would never stop talking. So I do know this lady is one who loved to hear her voice. She loved to speak about everything, and to some degree, I have some knowledge about everything, but I love to listen to the gossip. I love to know what's going on in the area where I'm living. And I also know with this lady that I'm quite well known in the area as well. And she has such a kind of gentle smile and a beautiful persona of herself. And most people will remember this lady by the smile within her face. Thank you, June. And with this lady as well, I do know I'm quite picky with who I am allow into my life and how I want to 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 have around my kitchen table. I'm going to stop there. Is there anyone who can understand this lady? Okay, that's fine. Because I felt her as a mum and also an aunt, but I can take Gran. It's no problem. It's not the easiest way to work in this way here. No, sorry, Tracy. I feel the other lady who. There we go, Natasha. So Natasha, is it okay if I'm working with yourself and you would understand everything I have said so far about your Gran? And I have to say, as I see and feel the energy of your Gran, she reminds me of how you look yourself. So there must be such a resemblance in her outlook and in your outlook as well. And if you're looking at the picture of your Gran, thank you. If you're looking at the picture of your Gran, that you should see the similarities within yourself and also your Gran here. And she's laughing here, and I do know the laugh within yourself isn't that far away either. And she was using the laughter to protect herself from things when it's going really rough and really tough. But no, she wouldn't show herself how she really was. She would just protect herself with a laugh because all she wanted everyone to see that she was a happy lady and no one really had to do what was going on within herself. And she's talking about this and she's also talking about you have the similar, you're doing the similar, I can't speak that, you're doing the similar yourself. Would that make sense? Because I'm also talking about your Gran here as a very, very sensitive lady and a lady who would know and feel and sense everything that goes on with a person. Yeah. And and the sensitivity with your Gran is passed on to your mom and it's also passed on to yourself. So I'm not sure if you're working as a medium yourself, but there is definitely the 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 energy with it and the 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 push from the spiritual for you to go on and do this work because with your Gran, she would work really hard to get the knowledge that she had, but she would have passed on it to yourself in her way that she was talking and the way she was communicating with you. And she would never have communicated with you when she was here in a childish way. She always saw you as more adult than you were. Will that make sense? Thank you. Because with your Gran as well, I do know she was always up for practical jokes and funny things. And she just had the sense of humor that she always loved to wind you up no matter what. Because when you realize that she just played a fool on you, you just started to laugh and she just loved to see you smile and she just loved to hear you laughing because when you were laughing, you always brought other people in as well who started to laugh. And and with your Gran as well, I do know I'm not very fond of and I don't really like to have a lot of adults people around me because they are so strange and they're behaving in such a strange way. But with children and especially yourself, everything is so much easier and to just understand the difficulties within myself. And would you understand as well some head injury or dementia, something to do with her head before she passing to the spirit world? And it's either dementia or stroke, something to do with her head. Thank you. Um, because I also know with her that I become quite emotional towards the end, but I don't really need to communicate with you because you have an understanding what I'm going through and you just using your mind and your thoughts to communicate with me and the healing you are sending to me by thoughts helps me to heal so much. And I do know she has been through to you before. I don't know if she has been through to you via a medium, but she has definitely been through to you within your home. And you have also felt the presence of your gran within your home. Thank you. Because she would never ever take a step back from you. And I can also smell some rose, the flower rose, but that should also be someone with the name of Rose in the spirit world as well, connecting to your grandmother and yourself. And I just want to start to play piano with your grandmother as well. And I'm not saying that she was the best piano player, but she would have loved piano music because that helped her to calm down and make her feel well, and she could disappear to her own world. And I just want to play the piano music with her ear, and I do know that was the love of her life. And there is also a cat belonging to your grandmother who also is in the spirit world, and I do know she was very fond of this cat. So what she's telling you here before I'm leaving you here, thank you. And what she's telling you here is, by just being who you are, you're just healing and helping so many people through your journey, and you have the authority and you have the encouragement to go on, and you're always standing strong on your feet on the ground, and there is no way for you to just going back to the life who it was before. This is a new journey for you, and it's a new journey and a new beginning, and she's talking about the spiritual journey and the spiritual life for you, where you're going to look into development and with the healing and the mediumship yourself. And she's just telling you to buy yourself a rose that will remind you about your grandmother and yourself. And it should be a red rose because it's the love and the bond between yourself and your grandmother. So I'm just handing on over the love from your grandmother to yourself, and all the best to you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm okay. I just needed a sip of water. Yeah, it's really warm here as well. I mean, we have 30 degrees in Sweden today, so it's very hot. So my next communicator is another gentleman from the spirit world. And I do know with this gentleman that I'm a grandfather, and I do know he's very much of his own, this grandfather, and I'm working. You're welcome, Natasha. And I'm working with myself, and I'm creating things with my hands, and it looks like I'm creating sculptures. Hey, Stacy, I'm creating sculptures with my hands and a knife, and I do know this grandfather is into perfection, and I also know with this grandfather that I like to keep myself busy, and I just don't like to have a dead time. There has to be something going on all the time. And I also know with him that when he passing to the spirit world, there is a golden watch, a pocket watch passed on from this grandfather to someone here. And I also feel with this pocket watch that the time stopped on the pocket watch when he passed to the spirit world. Is there anyone who can understand this information? Because I don't really see any names here. I don't. Oh, that's perfect. So, Dominique, would you understand the pocket watch as well? And it's a chain on the pocket watch as well. If it's not to yourself, It might have been passed on to someone else, but there is definitely a pocket watch on a chain. Nadine as well. So let's see where we go with this grandfather. And I feel, thank you. I feel I am with yourself, Dominic, because there was something to do with the greenery in your profile picture here, because I don't really know how it looks, but there was something with the energy who drew my attention to your green profile picture here. So is it okay if I'm working with yourself? And you would understand with your grandfather that he's very strong-minded as a person. He wants things to be done in her way and no one else's way. And I feel with your grandfather that I'm a really stubborn man as well. And that stubbornness is passed on to some degree to yourself as well. Thank you. And I'm not saying you are as stubborn as he was, but he's talking about the stubbornness with yourself as well. And he also telling me it's a good way to have the stubbornness, because that makes things going, and you would always do what you feel is right to do, and you would never give up. But I also know with your grandfather that I'm nearly always right, and even if I'm not always right, I always pretend to be right, because I don't like to be wrong in anything. So I just playing with the words, so it sounds like everything comes from myself. Would that make sense? And with your thank you. And with your grandfather as well, I feel I'm very well organized gentleman with him, because I just wants to have things in my own rights, and I don't want anyone to touch my things, because I put everything in order how I want it to be, and I can be quite upset if someone touching my things or moving them away. But I have to say, the relationship between yourself and your grandmother there was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of jokes in between them. I do know with your grandmother that she loved to play fool, that she loved to play fun with your grandfather as well, because she was one of very few who really could handle your grandfather and wouldn't take anything personally that he was saying. And when your grandfather passing to the spiritual, I do know my throat and my mouth is really dry, and I can't really drink properly. And I don't know if this is yourself or another lady who actually put a white wet tissue on his lips, because it feels that I'm laying in a bed and I can't really sit up. I just have to lay down, and I'm not feeling well at all. And with him, and with him, I just need a liquid to drink, otherwise will be totally dried out. But yeah, and you would understand that yourself or someone else was caring for him and staying with him towards the end to actually put the wet tissue on his lips as well. And as this comes forward here, I do know there was a lot of laughter, and there was a lot of fun things with your granddad as well, because I always wants to, thank you, I always wants to be on the go, and I have total control of everything as well. And I do know the family played practical jokes in a funny way with your grandfather, because you couldn't really hide anything, and I should have been a garden with your grandparents as well. And I feel I'm in charge of the garden, and I put everything in the way I want it. I want to have it. And I have to say with your grandfather that I feel I have an eye for beauty things as well. Would that make sense to you? Thank you. And I also know with your grandfather that I really, really want people to listening to what I'm saying. So I don't feel I'm the kind of gentleman who wants to repeat what I have said. I say these things one time, and that's enough. And I'm expecting people to hear what I'm saying and also listening to what I'm saying, because this is how it should have been done. And he's showing me here, when he comes around yourself, you always hear his laughter within your mind, and there is always a memory put into your mind who reminds you about your grandfather and yourself. Because I do know you were a treasure to your grandfather, and he would always treat you with respect. And in your home, there should be one or two of the sculptures he was made, because I feel I'm handing over sculptures to yourself, and it feels though you have kept them well, and they are very dear to you. And he also telling me that you have the same eye for the beauty things, and you can also create things who is amazingly beautiful with just your hands. It don't need to be sculptures, it can be other things, but you have an eye for beauty, and you have creating hands and sculpture hands. So just going to hand over the love from your grandfather to yourself, and thank you very much, Dominique, for speaking up. So thank you very much. It's a really strange but funny way to work in. So because normally you hear the feedback immediately, but this is the way to work. So it's quite fun. Uh-huh. Yeah. No, that's fine. So I can't. Let's see. I do know. I have a few family members. Thank you, Dominic. I do know I have a few family members in the spiritual. It feels to be mother, father, and also siblings. And there should have been a lady in the hello Sue. There should have been a lady in the congregation somewhere who have lost both mother, father, and a sibling to the spiritual, and feeling quite lonely. Hi Phil, nice to see you. And should feel quite lonely at this moment in time, and really, really miss my parents. And I just see the name of Elizabeth as well, and I see the color red. So I have to trust what I get here. So I need to throw this out. Is there anyone who can understand this? Yeah. Someone who has lost mother, father, and a sibling to the spiritual, and it's not long time. Oh, here we go. Margaret. Yeah. So Margaret, is it okay if I working with you? Would you? Is it possible that you might have someone connecting to Elizabeth as well and understand the color red, because it came so strongly to me. Thank you, Jane, because this is so specific. Mom and dad and brother. So let's see where we go. So is there anyone of you who understand the name of Elizabeth as well? And with my siblings, I do know I have a good relationship with my sibling as well. And it feels though they nearly passing together. It might be, I just see a car as well. So it might be a car accident who taking mother, father, and your sibling to the spirit world. And there is something to do with the stomach and the father as well. Okay. Yeah. So I think for some reason I see the rings and I see the heart here as well with Sandra. So Sandra, I think I'm going to stay with you and see what you can take and understand from what I'm feeling here. And you would understand everything I have said so far. Okay. Interesting. Um, it feels though that they're nearly passing together, mother, father, and the sibling. He died in his war. Oh. Hmm. Oh. Okay. So Margaret, I'm going to start to work with you and see what comes up here. Would you understand some problem with the stomach of your father as well? That he had some issues and problem with his stomach because something isn't working properly in myself, and I feel I'm quite strong-minded, and I wouldn't be a gentleman who really complains about anything. And but and your father isn't in the spiritual, because I feel this is a mother and father and a sibling. This is Cancer, yeah. Thank you. So sorry for my misunderstanding here. So, but with your father, you would understand. I'm not really complaining about anything. I'm just going on, and when I finally go to the doctor, it's too late. And then with your mom, I have to thank you. And with your mom, I do know the relationship between yourself and your mom wasn't just the mom and the daughter. There must have been a stronger relationship between your mother and yourself, like two good friends as well, where we really support and helping each other through everything. And actually, we're talking to each other in a more adult way, and not just mother and daughter. Because, thank you. But would you understand what I have said so far about your mom and yourself here? Because your mom is such a kind and gentle person as she comes forward here, and she always wanted the best for each and everyone. And if someone was emotional or sad, she will be the first one who is there to look after them. And when the life was really hard for your mom, I do know you were there to support and helped her to make everything going. And thank you. And with the conversation you and your mom had, there was always so much healing in the words you were talking about. So I do know with your mom and yourself, you actually healed and helped yourself to go over the passing of your father, but also through other difficulties in life. Because with your mom, I feel the life hadn't been very, very easy, and I feel she had worked really hard to get where she was going. And with your mom as well, I feel I wants to be totally independent with her, and always looking after myself. And I feel your father was exactly the same. They worked for what they had, they worked for what they needed, and they were happy to just go on with the self, with their self, and provide everything for the family. Is this making sense to you, Margaret? And and with your mum, I also feel I have amazingly cooking skills, and I do know she just mentioned here you have exactly the same cooking skill as your mum, and there's also recipe books handed over from your mum who is in your home at this moment in time, and I also feel with this your mum mostly had all the recipe in her head, so even if she had her books, they were nearly used because she didn't need them. So even if the cooking books is very old, they look they look quite new and they look quite fresh. So and you have the same skill and the same ability as your mum, and there is so much similarities with your mum and yourself. And there is also interesting. There is also pictures of your mother and your father in your living room, and I feel there is one picture with just your mum. Sorry, in your wallet there should be. Thank you. In your wallet there should be a picture of your mum, or in your purse or wallet there should be a picture of your mum. We are always the worst skeptics ourselves. So, but with a picture, she's showing me a picture of herself in your purse or in your wallet, and it's not a very big picture; it's a smaller picture. And on the back of the picture, there should be a date. Thank you. And there should be a date on the back of that picture. I'm not sure if I'm right here, but I see the age of 1970. Thank you. And would you understand the date of 1970 back on one of the pictures as well? Because that's what's I'm been showing here. But I do know it's not long time since you picked up the picture of your mum and hold it in your hand, and you actually felt the presence of your mum. And I also have to say, it's not long time ago since you lit a candle for both your mom and your father within your home, and I feel this is in your kitchen where you really felt you needed to feel the presence of them because the time wasn't the best. Thank you. And you would understand the thing with a candle as well. And I do know when you lit this candle, you were sending your prayers and you were making your own prayers that you haven't read anywhere. It's just a prayer that you have put up yourself. And you're sending these thoughts and the prayers to both your mom and your dad in the spirit world. And I do know you feel the presence of them all the time. And it's more or less that comes around to you with a lot of healing and and so much power and presence of them, and they just care for you as much as they can, and it feels though it's a little bit of payback time from them to yourself for all the time and everything that you did for them before they passed to the spirit world. Now, okay, now it's their time to give to yourself back, for to heal and help you to go through the situation and go through the life. And the scent I can smell with the candle is vanilla and patchouli. So I don't know if that means anything to you, but vanilla and patchouli is the smell I can smell here. So I'm just going to hand over the love from your family in the spirit world, and even if they don't have a physical body, as you know, they are very much around you, and are still keeping the family bond. So never doubt on yourself. So I'm just handing the love to you. And thank you very much for speaking up, Margaret. Thank you. Yes, please. Okay. Tomorrow there is a divine service with Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, and it's 11 p.m. Sorry, 11 a.m. UK time, and it's with Sam Perth. And tomorrow night there is a VIP night, and it's an evening of fledglings mediumship, and it's hosted by Veronica Jenkins, and it's a Sunday tomorrow, 8 p.m. via Zoom, and you will find all the information on SPT's Facebook page. Yeah, and then we have the fundraiser for Freya Thun, and she's a 14-year-old girl who's fighting with the leukemia. And join us for the fundraising evening with the guests Matt and Kirsty Grogan, Polly Hurnett, Sam O'Neill, Jane Morton, Marcus Lapsa, Bill Huge, Deb Clark, Wendell Lindsay, Sam Pert, Veronica Jenkins, Rachel Galbraith, the Robinson, Ricky, and Tyler. And it will go live, reading, bingo, quiz, competitions, and a good old giggle. So, I'm from Sweden, and I do private sittings as well, and you can find me on my Facebook page. I had a web page, but I put it down because it had to be renewed. So, and it will be up again later on. But I am on Facebook, so you can find me there. Thank you very much. So let's see where we go. I have a lady with me. Oh gosh, and I do know with this lady that I'm not very old when I'm passing to the spirit world, and it feels though it's the cancer. Hi Stacy, nice to see you. I feel it's a cancer condition who taking her to the spirit world, and the cancer condition is affecting my upper part of my body, and I also struggling with the breathing, and I can't really breathe, and totally dry in my mouth. But I also know with this lady that I'm full of life and always something to look forward to. I am a lady who is full of dreams, and I love to go on the nightclubs, and I love to dance, and I love the music. I can hear the music from Madonna, and so I know it's from that area of time. So I'm down to around 80s with Madonna here, and I feel this beautiful lady is a good friend to a lady who is in the room here, and No, sorry, Jane, but I don't feel this is a mum. This is a good friend uh, who I don't feel she reached over the age of 40. I'm not. I'm never going to age, but I don't feel I'm over 40 when I'm passing to the spirit world, and there should be someone who was in the same age as her, because it's someone that we always have fun together. We are standing strong together, and we always have a lot of fun, because life itself is about having fun and joy. So is there anyone who can understand this information? And I also know that I was there with her when she passed to the spirit world, and it feels as though that I was holding her hand as well. Because both of us had a lot of plans for the future. So Irene, would you understand, if this is your friend, Irene, would you understand everything I have said so far? Because with your friend, I feel there's not really any words who needs to be said. Interesting. Thank you, Sarah, for speaking up. Okay, that's fine, Irene. Because with this friend, I feel there wasn't any words who needed to be said. It was just, we just had to look at each other to have an understanding of what we thought and what we were thinking. So would that make sense with you, Sarah? Even if you wasn't, if you wasn't with her when she passed, would you have been with her in the hospital or hospice area before she passed and holding her hand? Because so, thank you, Terry. So if I'm going wrong here, and I apologize, if you haven't been here at immediately when she passed, you should have been there before she passed to the spirit world and holding her hand. I can't take that away. And I do know we have been out and having fun, and the life was just for two of us. No, Irene, then thank you for speaking up, but then I'm not with yourself. So there was another lady before yourself here, Irene. I think it was Terry. Yeah. Okay. So Saran, um, hmm. So Terry, because when I was seeing your picture, for some reason I felt drawn to yourself, and 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 Terry, you would understand the thing with the music, the nightclubs, and having fun together as well, because the life was all about having fun, and I feel there was a lot of plans between yourself and her to look forward to, and they should also have been planned of traveling together. With with her as well, even if I'm not always speaking up, I am a quite strong-minded person as well. Thank you, Jade, for speaking up. Um, oh gosh, Sorry, Jade. I feel I am with Terry. I might come back to you in a second here, Jade. And also, there must have been traveling planned with yourself and her, Terry. And also, both of you was quite sure that you would go through this, and the life would be back to normal afterwards. And with her as well, I feel I'm very intelligent as well, and I don't really need to read a lot, because I have easy to learn and easy to understand everything that goes on. And I also know with her that there must have been arguing in between both of you in a funny and a good way as well, because it's all about teasing and it's all about having fun, and it's just yourself and her. Thank you. And you also know the reason to why she wanted to go to Holland, because I do know she's very good with her hands when it comes to flower as well. And I feel one of the reasons to why she wanted to go to Holland was to see the tulips as well. And I also feel she must have been, during one part of a year, one part of her life, worked in a flowery shop or worked something to do with flowers as well. And also, I'm going back in time with your friends here, so I do know you must have been friends for a quite long time, and you clicked immediately when you met each other. And I feel as well, together with both of you, I could easily have solved all the problems within the world. No connection to flowers in the world. I'm coming back to the flowers in a second here. And there should be that you clicked quite immediately when you connected with each other. And also just knew everything was as it should. But I can see what you're typing here, no connection to flowers in the work, but would you not, so she hasn't worked in any flowery shop or anything, because she just showing, thank you, she's just showing me a beautiful created bouquet of flowers here, and I can also see the apron with a flower shop name on. So she must have had some connection to flowers in some way. I can't really take it away, but with herself, I also know that I have a lot of, that I'm into a lot of dreams with her as well, and visions, how I want everything to be, and okay, that's fine. I'm going to take it away. It might be for my next communicator then. And with her as well, I do know I was a very good decorator as well, and I have a very good taste when it comes to furniture and colors in my home, and people must have asked her for advices and help how they want it in the home. Well, that makes sense to you. And because she wasn't afraid to mix colors in the way she wanted it, and was always going in her own direction, and she wasn't everyone's cup of tea. She was very much a person of her own, and you would know if she liked you or didn't like you, and she wouldn't treat anyone in a bad way, but but she would just and she would just go on in the way she wanted it. And I do know there was arguing as well about who of you who had the best taste. And she would say she was always the one who had the best taste, and now she don't really care if you don't agree with her, but she's the one who had the best taste, and not only when it comes to the colors, and also when it comes to the wine. So I do know both of you must have drink a lot of wine, but she, referring to the wine as well, she was the one who was choosing the better taste of the wine as well. So she just leaving you with a lot of laughter and a lot of joy from her side to yourself, and there's always a good memories for popping up in your mind when you're thinking of her, and you know she's very close to you. So I'm just going to hand over the love from your friend to yourself, Terry. And thank you very much. So, Jade, can I come back to yourself? Yes. So, Jade, you must have understood sort of what I have said to Terry here, because the thing with the flowers came straight back after I said your name here. Would you understand this? And thank you, Terry. And with Jade, when I holding your friend's hand, I can feel there is so much energy who goes through my hand as well to her. And even if you wasn't there exactly when she passed, but there was time when you were seeing her before she passed. And even if you knew where she's going to go, that the life will end, you would always treat her with respect and dignity, and it feels though that you always had a smile in your face every time you visited her. Is this making sense? No. I don't know if you're still here or you might have left. So, okay, that's absolutely fine. No, I think she has left. Otherwise, I think she would have answered. So, let's go and see what we find. Interesting. The thing with the flower shop comes back again here, and it's a lady. Is there anyone who understand a lady worked in a flower shop or passing with a cancer condition, and it's in the upper part of the body? And I do know with this lady that I'm an expert to create this beautiful bouquets, and always with a beautiful smile within her face, and it also looks like she has a ponytail. I'm not normally go for those kind of descriptions, but it's so strong here. Okay, that's fine. Because she could just look at you and knew exactly what kind of flowers you needed, what kind of flowers you wanted, and you just needed to say a few words to her. Then she knew exactly what kind of flowers that you wanted. And I feel I'm going back in time with this lady. And Thank you. Here we go. Michaela. Yeah. So, Michaela, if I'm working with yourself, would you understand everything else that I have said about your friend, the cancer condition, and the intelligence of the flowers, and knew exactly how she wanted everything to be? And with her as well, that I could be quite straightforward when I'm talking and when I'm speaking as well. And it feels though, if this is for you, Michaela, that would have no boundaries with the language. We can speak about everything, and yeah, this is a while ago, and we can speak about everything, and we have a language who wouldn't be suitable in this room here. So I do know I have a lady here who is very well outspoken and very, very confident as well. And there's also a lot of fun, and it's a lot of jokes with her as well. And yeah, and she wouldn't tell anyone else things unless she had told yourself the first, because I feel the closeness and the bond between yourself and her is that strong. So I really want to speak to yourself first, and then I can speak to other people, because I also feel with her that I have trust issues with other people. And I also know with your friend that I have trust issues with people, but with yourself, there is never any problem. I can speak to you about everything, and there is no problem with anything. I do know I will have an honest opinion from yourself. You would always be true and honest to me, and she would be the opposite to yourself as well. So I do know there is a bond of trust, and there is a bond of relay. And I also feel when she told you about her cancer, and even if this was towards the end, I do know you was her big rock to supported her through this. And she would also have told you why she waited so long time to tell you about the cancer, because there is a scaredness and a frightness with her as well, and she don't really know how to handle the situation. So and you would have picked up the frightened and the scaredness with her as well, and always wanted to know what was going on. But for some reason I feel I can't really speak up, and when I'm speaking up it's too late, and as you said, it's towards the end. But you would always give her your support, kindness, love, and help to her. Yeah. But if you could have supported her, you would have done it. Yeah. And you would have supported her no matter what the situation. But she didn't want to, what's the right word in English? She didn't want to put any pressure on you. She just wanted to have the wonderful life both yourself and her had together. And she also knew that you would never judge her, but still she didn't want to put any pressure on yourself. And yeah, and no matter what she was going through, and no matter of the life situation, you would be there as her rock, and you would protect her, and you would speak up for her, even if she didn't understood towards the end what was going on and how the life was treating her. But you would speak up, and you would make sure that she understood what was going on. And she feels to me that she never really get an opportunity to give you all her appreciation for all the support and all the love you were giving her, because you was a fighter then, and you're still a fighter, and you never gave up. You always supported her, and you always stood with her. So it's her time to thanking you for everything that you were doing for her, because without your help and your support and your love, her life wouldn't have been as it was, even if it was a tragic circumstances when she was passing, and she would have loved to stay here even longer, but everything you did for her was just amazing. So there is so much appreciation and so much love from herself to yourself, and all the fun memories that you have together with her is still kept in her memories, and is still kept in your memory. And she talking about memories where you have been together and doing a lot of these silly and crazy things, and then just started to laugh, and she also telling me here where you have been together and just doing these crazy and silly things, and just started to burst to laugh, and no one really understood why you were laughing out, and that make the situation even more fun for both of you. So I do know there was always a laughter and a joy in between both of you, and then when there was a need to speak about deeper things, a deeper understanding, there was always time for it. But there was also time where you have to spend time with yourself to have an understanding of life itself, and then there was time where you shared everything together again. So I do know this was just an amazing relationship between both of you, and she's so happy to have had you in her life, because you meant so much to her. And I just have to do this to you, and this would have been a symbol between both yourself when she was here, and when you were seeing each other. It should have been a heart who was a symbol of true bond and love in between us. And I do know she must have get you a promise that when she go to the spirit world, she will come through and tell you that she has managed to come, that she has managed to go through the spirit world, and now she's alive again. So just take the love from your lovely friend, and just let you know how much she appreciates and love you. Thank you very much. Oh, really? Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Swedish medium do not do quickies. No, just kidding. No, no, it's fine. So thank you very much, everyone. It has been a true pleasure to be part of this evening here, and having all of you around the world for seeing here. And it has been just a beautiful evening, and it's the first time for me to do this show. And if you had known how nervous I was, it would be just as it was. But it has been a lovely evening, and I hope you taking care of yourself, and good luck with each and every one of you. So thank you very much.